Okay, it says we're live. So hello, we're gonna wait for people to get on here, but if you are watching the replay, definitely say hello. I'm gonna let you know what we're gonna be talking about today, and we're just gonna wait for a few people to hop on because I want people to have a chance to view this from the beginning, get to know Rick a bit. And so as you can tell by the title, it's about how to learn Spanish. So most of our clients that are coming, actually all of them, have expressed a desire to me. Yes, I wanna learn Spanish, but how do I do it? Do I do it through an app? Do I take private lessons? So a lot of people ask me, how did I learn Spanish? For me, it was just being here, but it took years. It probably would have been a lot faster if I had put more effort into it. So today we're going to be talking about learning Spanish, and more importantly, that I guess every country has its own differences in the way that they speak. So there's definitely a lot of Tico slang, slang that Costa Ricans will use, differences. So maybe you've learned Spanish one way, you'll come here and you'll say, what the heck? I don't understand any of this, depending on how the person speaks. So today we're going to learn a little bit more about Rick and his background. Maybe talk about some of the differences in the language that's spoken here in Spanish versus maybe other places. And then I want him to talk about his program. I've been really, really excited about this. I've been waiting for him to tell me he's got it. So yeah, I'm just very excited to share this with you all. So so Rick, we have a few people on here. If you want to tell us about yourself and your background and kind of what inspires you to do this. Seems like you're really passionate about it.
Definitely. Thanks for having me, Sarah. It's great to finally meet you. Well, welcome everyone here if you're watching the replay also. So basically I'm a Costa Rican. I was born in San Jose, in a town called Tibas. It's not far from downtown San Jose, right north of it, close to the border with Heredia. So if anyone knows where that is. I was born there, and in 2007, I moved to the States. I ended up staying there for, well, I'm still here. So it's been many, many years. I lived in the Bay Area, San Francisco specifically, for many years, since 2007 until very recently when I moved here to Texas. I'm near Austin, Texas right now. Just went through the winter storm. That was not very fun. And that made me want to be back in Costa Rica even more so, right?
Yeah.
I'm actually here in Texas, sort of like a pit stop on my way to Costa Rica. My plan is to move back there. I definitely miss the country, miss the weather, miss the food, the beach, and all that. So in 2007, I joined a language school, and I worked there in the administrative side of things. I got to learn that world, which I really, really enjoyed. I remember from when I was young, I really enjoyed languages in general. So I started learning English since I was a kid. I mean, that was part of the school program, so I was not very excited about it. But when I was a teenager and I wanted to understand what English songs were actually saying, so I started learning English, and I really, really enjoyed languages in general. So I started learning also French, and that led me to the language school. I was there for a few years. Then I decided one day to go on my own and teach people just on my own, create my own kind of little business. So I started teaching people, kids, teenagers, adults, and I was noticing that I was really enjoying my work with adults. So I kind of went on that line, and I kept teaching people that wanted to learn Spanish when they realized that I was from Costa Rica. So I got a lot of people that were like, "Oh, this is great," because I want to learn specifically Spanish for Costa Rica, which you were asking me earlier, a little bit of the differences. Well, we can actually communicate with each other, right? You probably know, Sarah, because you speak Spanish, right? So if you run into somebody from Mexico or anywhere, you can communicate with each other. So it's not a extremely different language. However, if you're in Costa Rica, as Ticos start using this language, that Costa Rican words that you are probably familiar with, Sarah, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Uh, yeah, so we even have a word for it, like it's pachuco, right?
Tuco, yep.
Pachuco,
Yep.
yeah. So,
I
so we,
understand. Some people are like, wait, you understood that? I'm like, yes.
yeah, exactly. So when we are like in, in a country and all this, like we start using these words. So we go, yeah. So I started teaching all these people like more like Costa Rican Spanish. Also teaching them about the culture in Costa Rica, the different places in Costa Rica, like like my main, I guess, my favorite places like La Fortuna or Guanacaste, the Puerto Viejo, and like. So I started seeing that people were really interested in that. With the pandemic, I was well before that I was teaching mostly in person. Then when the pandemic hit, I went online full time, right, as we all did. So that's when I guess that opened up like the world, like the online world, and instead of helping one on one, I thought, well, maybe why not I create like a big group, right? Like a club kind of per se. So that's where the idea came about, and I went on a Facebook group, kind of asked a question there. So maybe some of the people are watching this were on that Facebook post, and they gave me awesome feedback, and so that gave me like the motivation, and I'm like, this is a go. I'm gonna start working on this,
Mhm.
and is the name is Tico Thrive. So the hope is that by learning the language of Costa Rica and the culture of Costa Rica, you guys can thrive in the country. Um, and it's also very personal to me because when I moved to the States, I kind of wished I had something like this, like a support system, because it's not only a program; it's a community based learning program. So I wish I had like a community I can go to in learning like a whole new culture here, a whole new language. So that's what I'm hoping that we can provide to all of our members inside our Spanish learning club.
That's perfect. There they go. There go my dogs. As usual. No, I think that's excellent, and I love the like that it's a community. So it's like a community of people. Well, I guess essentially number one who have an interest in Costa Rica, and so I know a lot of my audience is moving, but perhaps also people who just want to travel here or just kind of stay an extended period and get to know the culture. So it's going to be like a nice community that has a specific interest in Costa Rica, not just
Exactly.
in Spanish. So I think that's super special where they can connect. And
We're really excited about the community side of it because that allows us to, serve our members not only during the class time that is only like maybe an hour long, right? Usually language lessons are short. So, but we provide this community where they can have access to it whenever they want, right?
mhm.
So 24/7, you can go in that community. You are also hanging out with a lot of people that are in the exact same situation as you are, going through this process of trying to better integrate in Costa Rica. So the people that we've been getting there are really awesome. Like they bring this like the energy, awesome energy that I'm really enjoying inside the group. So I think that's gonna be great for anyone wanting to learn Spanish, to hang out with other people that are going through the same thing, so we can all kind of hang out and learn together. So that's what we're trying to do.
Perfect. And do you think so? Who is this best suited for? Is it suited for someone who doesn't know any Spanish? Is it suited for someone who might know a little bit, or is it kind of just suited for anyone who just wants to even improve, even if they might already have a good grasp of it?
Yeah. So at this very moment, we started with our first group. We're calling it the founding members group. Um, and with that group, we are starting with people that know basically they're starting from scratch. Also, people that know a little bit of Spanish, but just based that they're at a basic level that they can communicate, but they need help, I guess, maybe with their verbs, maybe more vocabulary.
Mhm.
Also, since we're introducing the Tico side of things, part of the program, many people are even joining, even if they know some Spanish, but they want to the cultural and all the Costa Rican twist right to the program.
Mhm.
So heard from some people that said, "Yeah, I know some Spanish, but I'm giving it a try just to try to get that part of the program, the Tico, which is it's rare to find, I guess, a program, right? Like I don't know many programs that include like a Costa Rica based curriculum.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
I think that's perfect. And so you already have a group that has started.
they haven't started. They just joined our group, and they're kind of all waiting for us to start on March 1st. That's when we open our doors officially. Yeah, so we have this group. As we get people, they're going into this group, and we're engaging there with them while our before we open our doors on March 1st. Also important to know that enrollment is open from now until Sunday. Sunday at midnight is when we close our doors, and then we start a group on March 1st.
Okay, so it's open until this Sunday. Yeah, I guess, yeah, that would be the end of February, wouldn't it
Yeah,
be?
it's coming up soon, so we have a few more days, I guess. Five,
4 days
6.
for
Yeah.
this group. And then what you do is the next group that you have. So then March, you're enrolling for people who start April 1st.
Uh,
Or how does that work?
yeah, so we're still not sure on when the next group will start. We need to figure that out because we want to basically serve as best as possible,
Of course.
um, like our first group. So as we go, we'll kind of determine when our second group will start, but we don't have a date yet for that.
Okay. And then so how is everything structured? So let's say, are the meetings the same time each week? Or if they miss one, can they catch a recording? Or
Exactly. So the lesson is not heavy on like a live component to it because it's hard for everyone to be available at the same time. So obviously we would announce a time and date inside the group. It would be awesome if you can join our like a live session, but it's made in a way that it doesn't really matter if you are live or if you're watching the recording, because we give you like like a very structured kind of lesson where you just follow it. You'll be taking notes, and like we guide you on how to take the notes so you can basically have a solid foundation of your Spanish, even no matter if you're watching it live or on a recording. Then after that, they get an assignment that is related to that weekly lesson. They work on it. They can choose to work on it on their own, but that's where we have the community also as well. So we'll create like even like small groups that they can team up with, so they can work together on their assignments if they choose to do that. And then basically later in the week, we reveal the answers. We answer any questions that they may have. So we may have like a Q&A there for them if they have any questions about the lesson or the assignment. And then that's the word for the week. And then the following week, we start with a new lesson, probably featuring some other culture part of Costa Rica.
mm-hmm. So essentially, if someone couldn't make it to the live meeting, they still get the assignment and they can still interact with the community during.
Exactly.
So they're not losing that aspect of it.
Exactly. Correct. And they can go through the lesson, just not live, but they have support, as I said, in the community. If they're very straightforward lessons, but if they have any questions, anything that they don't understand in the lesson, they can come to our community, and we can all help them there.
Okay. So I don't know. Do you have like an example of what a assignment might look like during the weeks?
Yeah. So, well, let's say we have a lesson. Our first few lessons are very trying to give people a solid foundation, right? Not only with the cultural aspects of Costa Rica, but in the language itself. So let's say we're working on um, basically, let's say we worked on the word por, right? So I'll give you like some assignments so you start getting used to how to use the preposition por. And then some other activities where they're able to start basically practicing the language that they're using, all the vocabulary that we are including in a particular lesson. So yeah, so the idea is that they get to practice the grammar part of things. We're not doing it very grammar based, but whatever we feel important that they should get used to, and the vocabulary that is part of the lesson. So they get to solidify this knowledge. through the week.
Okay. And then for the lesson, do they have like downloadable PDFs, or is this just more they're just going to be needing to get out a notepad and paper, or just be taking some notes?
Exactly. So we provide a PDF that they can download. They can work on it, and yes, we're also considering other like a Google Doc kind of like where they go and like are even able to type in the answers.
For a dog near you. The first one is
So
East Lake Veterinary Center at
So sorry.
3618 East
No, it's fine. What is that? What is that? Like your Google Home or Alexa?
Health Center at 4 Lake
Google.
Drive,
Hey Google. Okay, that was unexpected.
It does that sometimes. My phone does that to me sometimes. I'm just like, wait, who is talking to you? Nobody.
Yeah.
My Google is like,
I just want to be part of the live here.
right? That's fine. Let's see. I want to know if I have anything else, I guess, about the program, what they could expect after enrollment, that they should know. And then I'd love to hear maybe some the cultural differences, and then maybe even some just some examples of words that might surprise people that might be different, that people use down here.
Yeah. So you said about the program, right? What happens after?
So they would
Yeah.
go
So,
oh, by the way, so if you guys do want to enroll in the program, there's a link in the description. So if you're on YouTube, it's on the description here in YouTube. If you're on Facebook on this live, the description's down in the Facebook description. So that essentially they would click on the link, and then what happens after that?
yeah. So once they enroll in the program, they'll get a welcome email with instructions on how to join our community, so that we can all hang out there before we open our doors on March 1st, Monday, this coming Monday. And then just a few more instructions that they'll get in the welcome email there. And then on Monday, the 1st, I'll open the community. I'll come and introduce myself. I give them the time for the lesson, which will happen on the next day, Tuesday.
Mhm.
Yeah, so on Tuesday we come. All the students come to the lesson, the ones that can. If not, you can do it, just go through the video lesson. And immediately after that, you'll get the assignment. And then we start basically working on the assignment and the community side of things. So we are hoping to bring a lot of value inside the community. That aspect really excites me, because that allows us to be present throughout the whole week, basically giving them awesome content about Costa Rica, not only about what we saw in the lesson, but additional content inside the community. So that's very exciting. I brought in somebody that is also helping me run this program. So she's also amazing in like creating content. So we're really excited to give them as much value as we can.
That's exciting.
So, thank you so much. So that's the program side of things, or what to expect. Then you said,
like just the culture. So you live in the United States, so you have a good grasp, and you've been there for a while, so you have a good grasp of North American culture, maybe some of the differences. So I would say the majority of my clients come from United States, Canada, but I do have some from Germany, UK, things like that. So maybe I know I'm kind of just bombing you with questions that
no worries.
that we didn't discuss it all before, but I mean, what do you see as some of the major differences, or what would you like to know? Maybe if someone is moving here, traveling here, what do you think are some important things about the culture that might be different to them, or that you think that would be beneficial for them to know?
Yeah, so Costa Rican culture has very many unique aspects to it. You can probably attest to that, right? From the way we drive to the way we treat each other, right? We're, I guess, more affectionate. The way that you can find food, or the products that you find at a supermarket may be very different, right? So all these things that they will encounter when they get to Costa Rica, if they were not in the program, they'll be like, what is a soda? What is empanada? Like all these words that they may not be familiar with, right? And by the way, soda is like a small restaurant, which they have great food. I miss that. I miss that.
Los Sodas from Texas? What do you mean?
I do miss Gallo Pinto so much. Gallo Pinto, for example, casado, all these different words that will be part of the program. So they start getting familiar with all these aspects of our culture without even being there if you don't live in Costa Rica, right? So you can you use a word earlier like get a jump start on their life
Yes.
in Costa Rica through this program. So I think
Yeah.
that'll be very beneficial.
Absolutely. I mean, it's one of the biggest questions that I get, or, whenever clients sign on for me, they sign up, they fill out a questionnaire, and I do ask, like, what are some of your fears and struggles whenever you're thinking about your move? And a lot of times people put in, I'm nervous that I don't speak Spanish, or I'm nervous that I don't have a good grasp of the language. And I always tell people, at least in the tourist areas, most Ticos they speak English. So it's not usually where you'll come and go, oh my God, no one understands me. I don't know even how to find a bathroom or get directions. But I always say it's great that you can get your basic needs met and people will understand you. But Ticos seem to really love when people practice. They really appreciate to see foreigners putting in the effort to learn their language, and I could tell it makes them happy.
I feel that's also a part of it. Like, and the people that are joining our program bring that energy to the group. Like they want to integrate. They say that all the time. They want to better, have the chance to talk to their neighbors, have the chance to go to the local store and like not only just come and get whatever, just interact with them. So I feel like the people that are joining the program come with that kind of like energy to it, and yeah, I'm loving that. But we have so many people interested in better integrating in the Costa Rican culture and not just stay in their expat communities, which is not bad, but it's just a different way to approach things. And the people that are joining our program are interested in communicating or interacting with the locals, and we really appreciate that for sure.
Absolutely, and it really just opens up a whole new world to new people. And I can say that definitely my experience has been way more enriched when I learned Spanish and I was able to communicate with people. Everyone was always very patient, when I was in my beginning stages, really patient, really kind, would definitely help out, or maybe, go, okay, we can talk, they could tell I was really struggling. We could go to English a little bit, but yeah, and then it did open up the door to talk to people who didn't speak English, which I was in a lot of situations where people didn't. And I got to know really amazing Costa Ricans and was able to learn about them and their background and their family and just more into their culture, especially like out in the mountains where maybe it's not as used. And it was really amazing to have that, be able to communicate with people that otherwise I wouldn't be able to have that real connection with.
I agree. Like the same way for me. Like I learned English, opened a whole new world for me that I otherwise I would have not have access to. So the language definitely opens so many doors that are not even like imaginable. Like a whole new, it's like a whole new you, right? In contact with so many other people.
Absolutely. So then, I think my last one was like, what are some fun words that might be different or some slang that people should know about?
All right. We love we love the word tranquilo, right? Tranquilo is sort of like we all know pura vida, right? But tranquilo is sometimes even used even more so than pura vida. Like when you ask a Tico, ¿Cómo estás? How are you? Tranquilo, like that's like a like a default response because we just want to express that everything is calm, everything is nothing is crazy. So we use that word a lot more than any other country. I feel like it's also part of like the Costa Rican kind of like idea, right?
The way of life.
Way of life, exactly. Yeah, so we use many words that in other countries are not used the same way. Trying to do you have anything in mind that from me?
Regálame uno, or like they use that here, and I've heard that they don't use that in other countries. So it's a very
so regalar, for those that don't know the word, is the verb to gift. So we, instead of ordering something at the restaurant, like give me something or I'd like something, we say gift me the food that we're ordering. In other countries, they find that super funny, right? Because like, no, you have to pay for this, right? So yeah, so I've gotten that a lot when I've used it myself with other people from other countries. Like, are you expecting this for free? No. It's just the way we say it. So yeah, some many different things that it's just hard to come up with on the spot, but
Yeah, of course. I'm trying to think of anything
there's so
else.
many.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
so many of them. That words that are part of the Spanish language, right? That are used in a different way, plus all the Costa Rican slang that is not even used in other countries,
Uh-huh.
just particular to our country. So you'll hear words like my,
Uh-huh.
people talking to each other. It used to be only between guys, but nowadays it's between guys and girls and girls and girls. Everyone uses my. Um, yeah, so many words that are just unique to Costa Rica. So that's
I have one that maybe some people get a little confused on. Can you explain Aurita? So there's ahora and Aurita.
yes. So ticos, actually, the word tico, which is a synonym for Costa Rican, was born from people back in the day using the ending tico on words, which is similar to the ending ito, which makes things either small, not only in size but in amount. Uh, but there's another use that we is basically for affection or to sound friendly with other people. So not only is for size or the amount of it, but just to sound friendly with each other, we use those endings, ito or tico, back in the day, more so than now. So we attach those endings to any word we think
Uh-huh.
we need it for whatever reason. Ahora is right now or now. Ahorita is like right at this very moment.
But sometimes I feel like Aurita could
Oh,
mean like in
okay.
15 minutes or in 5 hours or maybe 5 days.
That's true. That's true. So that's like right. Ahorita, because depending on the context, I can say ahorita, like I'm just doing this right now. But it could also be like, oh, I'll be there ahorita. And we're trying to communicate that we're almost there, but Tico culture is never like almost there.
Almost there could mean has or they say yeah go like or like I'm already on my way, but they're not. And my daughter started using Aurita with me, and I'm like,
Oh, really?
I'll be like, come clean or whatever, and she's like, Mommy, Aurita, and I know that means she's not going to do it. Like she's not. That could mean 5 hours from now, or maybe
Exactly.
not at all.
If you ever hear ahorita, just don't believe that's gonna happen right away.
Exactly. So that's one thing that I think sometimes will confuse people. They're like, oh, okay, maybe especially if it's on their
And that might be a very Costa Rican thing because I've never heard other countries using that wording that way.
exactly. So especially if like maybe someone's talking to their landlord or they're translating it. So when they translate ahorita like maybe directly, they think, oh, okay, now the person must be coming now.
Exactly. If you put in Google Translate, it'll say, "Oh, okay, my landlord is coming right away." Okay, no, he is not.
Yeah. He's probably not coming. Maybe tomorrow. It depends on the person. I guess you just have to know that person as well to know what do they actually mean by that.
That's true. So yeah, no, I actually have a lot of fun explaining those little differences because sometimes they're amusing.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely find it. So there could be some miscommunications in that way. So I think your course will be, I'm sure more will become uncovered over time as you're going through material and things come up and say, oh, actually, this does, when you translate it, it means this, but for Tico's, it might mean this.
Exactly. For Tico's, it's something either completely different or like a spin on it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if you had any other questions, Sarah.
I don't think so, but I'll open it up just for a little bit to see if anybody else has questions. I do have a meeting after this, but if anyone has questions, I can see them. You're welcome to ask. We'll just go over them before we hop off here. And again, if you are just popping into this, we're talking about learning Spanish in the Costa Rican way. If you want to sign up, so this Sunday at midnight is the closing of your first registration, and then the classes will begin in March. So there's a link in the description, in the YouTube description, or on Facebook. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, now would be the time to ask them. And thank you for coming on, anyways. And this has been fun, and I'm excited for people to.
Yeah, no, it's been a fun chat for sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Sloan asked, would this be helpful for someone completely new to Spanish? So.
That's actually perfect for people that are starting from scratch, because we're starting from zero, basically. We're trying to make it as interesting for people that are starting from scratch, or also people that know a little bit of Spanish, can communicate already, just by starting to learn about the Costa Rican culture. At the beginning, we're obviously setting a strong foundation, so we go through very key components of the language itself, Spanish, that we all need to get a good handle on, for us to move to more advanced, like vocabulary or topics even. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Someone asked, how long does the program run? That's a good question.
Yeah. So we have 2 phases right now. The first phase, we actually call it Solid Foundation, Language plus Culture. So that phase number 1 is an 8-week program. So
okay.
And in those 8 weeks, we'll have these lessons that are basically meant to give you that solid foundation that you need in order to start getting more advanced vocabulary, concepts, etc. So in phase 2, we'll jump to, we call it the Tico Spanish Club. So that's phase 2. And inside the club, we continue to give you lessons, but are not so focused so much on setting the foundation of Spanish itself. So in the club, we get to have even more fun with cultural aspects of Costa Rica and the language itself. However, from the beginning, we are also setting the foundations of the cultural aspect of Costa Rica. It's just that later on, we get to, we're not so, I guess, focused on the Spanish side of things.
Mm-hmm. Well, excellent. Well, that looks to be the questions that we had. I want to thank you again. And then, of course, if anyone would like to sign up, links are down below. I was really excited about this, and I think it's going to be really beneficial for those. And I just love that this has that, number 1, it's Spanish for Costa Rica. Number 2, it's has that community base. So you're connecting with others who have that same interest. So I'm really excited.
Thank you so much, Sarah. It's great to finally meet you. Yeah, so feel free to go to that description, the link on this video. And we'll love to welcome you inside our group. Right now, our doors are open for anyone wanting to learn about Costa Rica, learn its language. So we would love to have you there and have you be part of our community.
Definitely. Oh, one last question for me. So when are you going to come back to Costa Rica? You have any plans to come back?
I actually was supposed to be there already. Things, pandemic happened, all that. Mm-hmm. So things kind of got delayed a little bit. But I'm hoping to be back at the latest, next year.
Excellent.
Yeah, I can't wait to be back there for sure.
Great. I'll bet. Yeah. All righty. Well, thanks again. I appreciate your time, and thanks for sharing this and creating this. This is fantastic.
It's my pleasure.
All righty.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.